Hi, this is Christy Love, and welcome back. So, what I wanted to do in this video is to talk about the difference between a WordPress.org and WordPress.com because there is always a lot of confusion between the two. And these are basically your hosted versus your self hosted versions of WordPress. And what I like to do is show you an analogy because I think that's the easiest way to think about the difference between the two. And it's the analogy of renting a house versus owning a house. And WordPress.com is similar to renting a house. You have limited control over what you can and what you can't do. Whereas with WordPress.org, ORG is like owning a house where you have full control. No one can kick you out. You can do whatever you want, paint whatever color you want to the house, right? And WordPress in itself is an open source software that you can install on you rent your web hosting account. You have 100% own the content, and it just makes it very easy to switch to a different platform if you want to. WordPress.org, that is. You choose to do later. So that's what we're going to talk about first. And let me switch my screen to that one. We'll talk about afterwards WordPress.com. So WordPress.org, also known as self hosted WordPress, is the world's most popular website building platform. It's over 38% of the world's websites, give or take, at any given moment, are powered on WordPress. It's pretty popular. And there's two versions, as we mentioned of WordPress. You've got the WordPress.org, which is what I have showing on the screen here. And then you have WordPress.com, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. WordPress is free open source website builder. So you can use it to build your website. And then you've got maximum control, which unlike other website builders, where you're kind of limited in what you can do. And then the thing is, you will have to have, of course, your own hosting and then install it on your website and host your website. But it's not as scary or as hard as it sounds. Okay. So don't worry, take a deep breath. We can do this. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about next. The thing I love is that there are so many different types of websites that you can make with WordPress. You can have e-commerce stores, community sites, memberships, websites, even personal websites, personal blogs, any, different kinds of service websites, mom and pop shops, if you will. So, and then there's all kinds of pre-made press themes that you can use for your website. And then you can use Page Builder to help you, or drag and drop, as they call them, to help you build those websites, such as Beaver Builder and Elementor, that just make it now so much easier to lay out your website. And then you get access to more than, like, I don't even know the number because it's growing all the time. Show you inside my dashboard here, just thousands upon thousands upon thousands of different types of plugins. These plugins are, for lack of a better word, they're like little apps that you can use to add functionality to your website. I know sometimes plugins get maybe a little bit of a bad rap because, there's always these plugin problems and I have to update them and blah, blah, blah. But, we all have phones, right? And we always love to have different apps and we upload them onto our phone. Why do we do that? It's because we love to add functionality and fun and things to do, right? To our phone. And it's the same thing with a website. If we just have like this drab website where we open it up and there's just like, there's nothing there, it's going to be boring. And that's the same thing with all these different plugins or these different apps that you can use to enhance your website. That's what those are for. So you can add photo galleries, social media tools, live chat, all these interesting and fun things, as well as SEO tools, which is what Google loves to, in the search engines that help to boost your rankings in the search engines. Now, those are all the fun and great things and the pros that I love and that are great about WordPress.org. Now, the cons about WordPress, which are, not really that bad in my opinion, are that there is a slight learning curve when it comes to WordPress, which when you first come in here, when someone first comes into the dashboard of WordPress and looks at this, it could be like, oh my goodness, this is just like, I can't take it. I don't think I can do this. It can feel a little difficult at first, right? And depending on the way you look at things, you might be like, nope, this is not for me. But if you, just can get over that initial hump of things, it's overcome by most people. And it's really not as difficult as some people make it out to be. You'll have to, of course, manage your own website, which means you're just going to have to learn a new system. But that's with anything you're going to have to do, right? So you have to keep up with your website. You have to make updates as they come, which of course, update your plugins and backups, things of that nature. But because, WordPress is always getting better, they actually made it so that plugins, and I can even open this up here under my installed plugins. They actually made it so that you can enable auto updates, which is really cool now. So you can enable auto updates here so that now your plugins, when you have them in here, they will update automatically for you. So that is an awesome feature. So it's not like this, crazy maintenance thing anymore that you like, oh, I got to come in here to update my plugins. You just do it. You just do it the one time, enable your update, and it'll just let you know when it's been done for you. So it's like no big deal. Not that scary. As far as pricing goes, it's like dirt cheap. All you have to do is buy your domain, and then hosting, which is like really cheap too, is like a couple bucks a month, maybe $8 a month. I don't know, depending on which hosting company you go with. So it's the cheapest way you're going to be able to build your website. Once you get over the actual design part of it, maintenance is going to be like super cheap. And no matter what hosting company you go with, they're going to have WordPress hosting, whether it's GoDaddy, Bluehost, SiteGround, DreamHost, Lyrical, which is the one I use now, Namecheap. They all have it. So you're not going to run into any problems with that. All right. Now let's talk about WordPress.com. Okay. So now I'll go to the other screen, which talks more about that one, which is the hosted or AKA rented version of WordPress. All right. Now, WordPress, this is one that is run by Automatic, which is with 2 T's. And, as I mentioned, it is not the same as WordPress.org. All right. So with WordPress.com, which we have here, you're using a hosted version. You're using the same software per se, but it's being built on their servers. So This means that you have to abide by their terms of service. Okay. So should you later decide to switch platforms, then the migration is going to be a little difficult with that. So we'll talk a little, maybe a bit about that later. Now, the WordPress.com, as I mentioned, it's built on top of the same software, the WordPress software, but it's built into this custom user experience that they have here on WordPress.com. Because it's a hosted version, you don't have to worry about the software and the backups because WordPress.com is doing that for you. So you're basically like paying for the convenience of them taking care of that for you. So they have a free, I'll scroll down here for you so you can see this here a little bit. They do, they have some nice, templates, things like that. They do have a free plan, which is limited. I think it's up to 3 gigabytes, something like that. Then they have some different options as far as plans go. They have this personal plan, which is $4 per month, but they bill yearly. Just FYI, if you do decide to go this route. This is more for personal, that's for personal use. Premium, $8 a month, billed yearly. Then they have business and e-commerce. So, you can always obviously come on here if you want to look at these options, and then, see if there's something there that you like there. Now, I want you to hear the cons here. You cannot install custom plugins or themes unless you upgrade to this business plan here. Okay. And that's going to be $25 a month, which is billed yearly again. Right. So this is where things get a little sticky when it comes to this WordPress.com plan. All right. Now, also the premium and the lower plans, that would be these two plans here, do not have the e-commerce features, which would be over here, or the third-party ad network support. And with the business plan, you can use WooCommerce and third-party ad networks, but you still have to follow WordPress.com's terms and conditions. So with that, you're going to have to read all the fine print. You're going to have to go down here, read the terms of service, click on and read all the fine print. Okay. That's what you think. That's the thing I don't like about having to use this kind of service is like, you have to abide by all their little rules. And, that's rented plan. Okay. Rent versus own. That's why, that's the analogy I'm using with WordPress.org versus WordPress.com. All right. A couple other things. You cannot build membership sites with WordPress.com here. Okay. You're also restricted to their stats. So you cannot use, for instance, Google Analytics or install any other tracking platforms like you would be able to use, for instance, that I use here, on my website in WordPress.org, with plugins that you might use to keep track of things like Google Analytics, which is like, like super helpful and important. So that's something you can't use here when you're using WordPress.com. It also does not offer any e-commerce features or integrated payment gateways unless you switch to the e-commerce plan, which is like $45 a month. Also, you basically have very limited options to monetize content on your WordPress.com website. So if you're going to go with this plan, just know that your options are going to be very limited when it comes to being able to monetize it. Okay. As I mentioned, their plan, it starts at $4, but if you're really going to be using this for business, you're going to have to pay up buttercup, as they say. All right. So just know that you're going to have to pay more, and then you're going to have to read all the little fine print. boom, 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 all the way down there. Okay. So my final verdict on between the two, as far as WordPress versus WordPress.com, the free version, the WordPress.com platform, I think it's fine if you're just using this as like a hobby blog, or if you're just starting out and you kind of just want to get your feet wet, you're just going to be using it as a personal project, or if you really just don't care about making money, and then this is great. Just go with a free website, and then, just go with that. And then when you're ready, but otherwise, if you plan to run a business, you want to run ads, you want to make money from your website, you want to run a membership, you want branding freedom, you want full plugin support, you want powerful analytics like SEO, you want full control of your website, you want to, you know, definitely be able to make money from what you're doing, then definitely go with WordPress.org, please. Okay, so that would be my final verdict on both of these. So this is just to help you to see the difference between the two. There's a big difference. So in a separate video, we'll go over the popular hosted options that are out there. Things like Squarespace, Wix, some of those that are out there. But I wanted to just do this separate video that just goes over WordPress.org versus WordPress.com, because I definitely, do prefer to have a WordPress website because it's so accessible, for so many people, and you get so much bang for your buck out of it. But I do think there can be a lot of confusion, especially for those just starting out on it. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and definitely if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to let me know. All right, thanks. I'll see you next time.